We're proud of being the first school to visit Aga Khan University Arusha Climate and Environment Research Center for our CAS trip. And with that, we want to thank our coordinators for presenting us with this opportunity where we had a blast both learning and having fun. Let's look through the memories we made on the trip and all the lessons we learned on the way. The change in scenery was a necessity after looking at whiteboards for so long. Our trip to the university campsite was mostly smooth sailing, with everyone buzzing with excitement as to what was in store, although our arrival was a little bumpy. We did the basics like unpacking and getting to know our temporary home, but we also had a bit of a sneak peek as to what we were about to be put through in the debriefing we had with Dr. Sule.
Being Maasai has always been a component of my identity that I've sought to hide. Being Maasai meant being a nomad who was still stuck in the ancient ways, a person who hadn't kept up with modern living. On day 2 of the CAS trip, we got the opportunity to speak with the Libon, a Maasai elder. Our session with the Libon gave us a fresh perspective on climate change and the loss of biodiversity. The Libon's words were full of spirit and vigor as he narrated the struggles of the Maasai community. Reflecting on the words of the Libon, kweli yule mzee amekula chumvi nyingi, na alitubariki na busara yake.
Let's dive into the second day of our CAS trip, a day that started innocently with a morning hike to Decision Hill and turned into a hilarious adventure. Picture this, all of us, half asleep, gathering for the hike, thinking it would be a breeze. Little did we know Decision Hill had some surprises in store. The hike became a mix of bonding and questionable decisions. We had each other's backs, sharing water, pushing each other forward, and throwing in a bit of friendly teasing. In the end, we got a breathtaking view of the stunning scenery and the vast lands of AKU-ACER. But let's just say our fitness levels got a reality check. Now, fast forward to what was supposed to be a friendly football match with the AKU team. Spoiler alert, it turned into a riveting battle for the ages. The score may have looked more like a phone number than a football match, 8-2, but the heroes of our team turned the match into a worthwhile war in saving some dignity. Rain tried to dampen our spirits, but our class girls, undeterred, screamed their way into a pursuit of banger, claiming our MVP despite the multiple in the opposition. In the end, it wasn't about the numbers on the scoreboard or who could survive the hike. Rather, it was about the unexpected triumphs that etched the second day into our hearts and filled our nights with laughter.
Wanting to better understand our roles as the environment leaders of tomorrow, we got down and dirty at the campus's demo plots and tree nursery. We took the shovel and got to tilling the soil, learned how deep the seeds of the tomato plant should be sown under, and what is the ideal climate, which is all knowledge that is gained from experience and not through cramming textbooks. Unsurprisingly, we discovered the raw strength that the planters possess, which humbled all of us combined.
Going to Arusha National Park was a thrilling experience. Our driver, Emmanuel, aka Hedgehog, and tour guide Estoro both did their very best to make our trip insightful. We learned a variety of things like the difference between true horns and false horns, how some plants work in a toxic relationship, why a certain river was called the tea-colored river, how the stool of animals are affected by water intake, and the overall biodiversity of Arusha. Interacting with nature helped us recognize the importance of protecting endangered species and enlightened us about the coexistence of culture and nature. We went in with a blank canvas and came back with color, which was a well-needed break for us city dwellers.
This trip was pretty much everything we could have asked for and more, with sights and activities that made us all wish the days were just a tad bit longer. Having our CAS trip at AKU-ACER was truly an experience none of us will forget. In a good way, don't worry. From learning about farming processes at the demo plots and the impact of climate change in lesser fortunate lives, to interacting with the community in fun ways like a friendly game of football, or even through making sure that the children learning at the Community Outreach Center have something new to look at when they go back to school. We all have a little something to hold in our hearts and minds that we can utilize forever. To me, this trip was surreal. What about you guys?
Nourishing. Benevolent. Nomadic. Great.
Glorious.
Inspiring. Memorable.
Augmentative.
Absurd.
Authentic.
Heavenly.
Admirable.
Adventurous.
Picture perfect.
Artisanal.
Likeable.